Tell me, friend.
I see why they call you the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
You can't beat me. I'm Boba Fett. I'm the greatest bounty hunter ever. Oh, yeah. Didn't see that one coming, did you? I was flying around with my jetpack, just smoking rebels with a laser. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Han Solo was all, hey, wait. And I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this for a long time, Solo. Ba-bang. Oh, yeah. A little rope-a-dope, huh? I was left, right. Oh, down goes Solo. The big bad Wookiee be growling in hell now. I even put one between Skywalker's eyes, right between those pretty baby blues. But then Jabba the Hutt was all, oh no, this guy's too badass, man. So then 80 Jedi showed up. I took out about 67 of them. Oh, you thought I was over there, but guess what? Over here. Well, let me just take this bad boy off my... Oh, he's even better looking without the helmet.
Hello and welcome to Fennec and Fett-ish, a podcast about the Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett. I'm Travis Fishburne.
I am Alex Brunel.
I'm Dustin Meadows.
And this week we're going to be discussing the finale of this series or season, Chapter 7, In the Name of Honor. And everything comes to a big culmination. Dustin, what did you think of this week's episode?
I almost only liked it, but they fixed it by the post-credits. So I loved this episode. It was great. And it's one of the few times that I have been able to compare something in a TV show to Blade 2. Because there's essentially a half-hour long action sequence, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. Alex, what about you?
It is a real highlight. The action in this episode is really like a great Rodriguez flex. The episode feels light in a lot of ways dramatically during that time. You know, like Boba Fett, we don't really feel like he knows anybody except his immediate crew. Yet he's, fighting for honor and all these things. The mod performance, I still like the mods, but I didn't find that the most compelling thing to keep us grounded in the battle. But the action stuff itself, man, so good. I was baffled by the rancor effect. I don't know how. Yeah. To my eyes, it almost 100% looked exactly like a rancor from Return of the Jedi in 1983, except moving around in broad daylight. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. It's very cute. You have all the things. Garsa Thwip is seemingly very dead, which I still think is very dumb.
Yes, it is an interesting predicament in that that establishment, which we can get into because it opens up with them there in old Garsa Thwip's place, and it's bombed out sanctuary, and there are no bodies at all. No. I don't know if it had already been cleaned up. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
That to me that confirms that everyone in that place was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Except for Max Rebo, who was definitely on a smoke break.
Max Rebo was definitely jizzing somewhere else that evening.
There were no blue spots on the wall to indicate.
No,
it was like a Max Rebo stain.
Yeah, he picked up a wedding gig playing in a jizz quartet.
There you go. Yeah, I like this episode overall. This was, this was how the series is going to go out. I don't think this is the best Star Wars has ever been. I think there's a lot of very good stuff in here, and I had fun watching.
Yeah.
Have you?
No, I really liked it. And I saw this episode later than most people did. And I saw it feels like every time a new episode of any Star Wars comes out, it's met with all this stuff. It's like this or that. And all I kept hearing about was a spin. I kept seeing like on Twitter about like a spin that happened. And when it happened in the episode, I was like, that's it? That's what everyone's going crazy about?
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
Well, which is silly because I just rewatched it before we went live. It happens twice.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because Mando does it too.
He
earlier.
does, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what, though?
Well, here's
it's like
the
Obama
issue.
wearing a tan suit, this reaction.
Yeah. Here's the issue. I've said it before. It's because largely the Star Wars fandom is mostly trash people.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
It is.
In case any of our listeners or viewers forgot, present company excluded. They're a bunch of chuds who don't deserve anything good or fun ever.
Generally, I agree. Yes. But yeah, I this is part of the whole thing that like there was, and as far as what this show has shown us that it's doing, that spin is not at all something outside of what I expected to see. Like within the context of this show, the spin is just like, yep, that looks like a Book of Boba Fett thing.
You know who else spins? Anyone in a John Woo movie, and it makes John Woo movies better. I wish that there had been whatever the Tatooine equivalent of a dove is flying around during some of these gunfights.
Yeah, let's make up more new ecology for.
Yeah, maybe some like albino Minox flying across the screen as they're shooting.
There you go.
Like, and it's also, I mean, how many times have we seen Banderas do that in the El Mariachi movies?
Oh
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. And well, here's the thing: is like I've been rewatching Rodriguez films this week, and so when I was watching, I'm like, this like just fits right in. And there's quite a few visual things that go on in this episode that I'm like, yeah, I see all the little directing flares, and I like it, and I don't see it like not fitting in at all in this world.
Totally. Also, beyond the aesthetic of it, you know what's harder to hit than a stationary target? A moving one, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Does it seem silly? Sure. But you know what? You're going to be less likely to take a laser blast to the chest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anakin was right.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
It helped him.
Yeah, one of the few times that I will agree with Anakin.
From your point of view, the Jedi are not evil.
Darth Vader spins a whole bunch at the end of New Hope, and he makes it to the next movie, so...
That's true.
There's a precedent, Star Wars fans.
It's spinning.
Because Darth Vader knew. He's been down with spinning from the jump.
Alex, in the current, fan edits of Star Wars, do any of them when Darth Vader is spinning off at the end of A New Hope, do they insert
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
like as his internal monologue?
I don't think so, but I think there should be a spinning cut of where that gets reintroduced in some alternate audio track. There's some Star Wars fan edit to suit like nearly everyone's tastes. There has to someone has to sure someone did that. Sure. You could do it.
The all Jar Jar cut.
You got some Blu-rays. The all Jar Jar cut. Yep, that's a way you could go. You could whittle it down until it's just the story of Jar Jar, which you would still be left with probably a good 40 minutes of movie.
Yeah, when you include all the Clone Wars episodes and stuff.
Oh, totally. Then you have like,
if
you're cutting together like the life and times of Jar Jar Binks,
you'd get a few episodes in Clone Wars where Jar Jar was not voiced by Ahmed Best, and it's very strange.
Oh, I forgot that's that. Weird.
Yeah.
I forgot that sometimes they would get the people and sometimes they wouldn't get the people.
You know who else spins? BB-8. Constantly. People loved him.
Yeah. This is very true.
Marketing thought that up. Implanting it.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
And it was just in our brains since our childhoods, and we're conditioned to identify spinning with good tricks.
I don't know. I mean, this episode as a whole, I mean, even if you take the Rancor bit out, I'm watching this and I'm seeing Mando and Boba having their standoff with all of the pikes and everything. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is an incredible thing that we're seeing. And I can't believe this. And why would anybody bitch about this?
I completely agree. It was so fun. It was so much fun.
Like it's basically an entire Siege episode, which is my
Yes.
second favorite type of action sequence / movie, right after hunting somebody for sport. So, yeah, and all the complaints earlier on too is like, oh, this is too slow. It's not going anywhere. This is different. Oh, this is all action heavy now. This sucks. Like, shove them all into a dumpster. Like, just my God, there's no pleasing them. Like it's one thing if you have a criticism where it's like, I don't feel like some of the dramatic moments were earned, but they spun. That's stupid. Like, all right, I don't know what you want. Go die. Just go die.
Wow.
I'm gonna get real heated because
This
I'm
episode
just
is dark.
I'm just sick of Star Wars fans complaining.
Master, son.
Yeah, I don't participate in Star Wars fan.
Oh, I don't. But I see enough of it. I see enough of my friends complaining about this. Is like it's the same thing that happened with Force Awakens. They're like, oh, this is too much like A New Hope. Then we got Last Jedi, and a bunch of people were complaining. I was like, why don't you just let them try different things? Like, this isn't like this show being what it is, those moments being what they are. It doesn't take away from any of the other stuff.
Yeah, it's a different flavor of Star Wars, and it's kind of little different, not as substantive in some ways. But I mean,
and that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You can have
I would rather they take chances and try and do something a little different every at bat than keep trying to do the same thing every time.
Yeah.
And we even get a little bit of that here because, again, like everything else has to be tied back to the Skywalker family somehow. So we even get that moment very briefly in this show.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We get more Peli in this episode.
Yeah.
R2-D2 flying an X-wing all by his lonesome.
Yeah. We get more Pele and a Strangers with Candy reunion later on.
That's right. We have Baby Yoda.
yeah.
We have Grogu using
Mhm.
the Force to leap into Din's arms. Very cute.
Yeah.
Oh, adorable. Every time I think I'm over that little puppet, he does something like that. I was like, all right, nope. Every time I think about it, you pull me right back in, Grogu.
Or he cuddles next to a giant sleeping rancor like he's a kitten.
Yeah, did he have that was one thing that I was like, I love this, but is this too far? Does he have to cuddle the friggin' rancor?
He's tuckered out. There's no other surfaces to lay down that aren't just straight up desert streets. Rancor's head
But he
probably
could,
makes
like,
a decent
sprawl
pillow.
out. Yeah, maybe. I
Crawl
like
up into the crook of his neck and just stretch.
I like the use of the Star Wars, the Jedi ability to like commune with animals through the Force. Like that's a nice Filoni touch.
That was great.
Was this episode written by Favreau and Filoni or just Favreau? I can't remember.
Just Favreau.
Yeah.
I remember the credit very specifically from 20 minutes ago. It's Favreau wrote this.
Did you guys happen to notice that the end theme now included the lyrics Boba Fett over
Yes.
and over again?
It was a different mix. I'm like, wow. It now says
Me and my fiance were laughing really hard during the end credits music.
Yeah, I was too. I was like, what is happening?
like, why did they feel like they had to earn this? Like, because I know that Giacchino, when he was scoring the Star Trek movie, he didn't bring in that original series score until the very end. He's like, I wanted to like earn that throughout, and I'm like, did they feel like they couldn't earn the name Boba Fett until this had wrapped up?
Well, yeah, it seems weird, especially like for the first time we hear that theme in the first episode, where it has that Ennio Morricone spaghetti western sound with like the "ha!" and all the yelling. And so it was like, that would have been a perfect fit. Like, I don't think anyone would have said, nope, this is stupid. I was like, no, that's exactly what I would expect from a score like this.
Yeah.
What's really fun is to take other pieces of popular Star Wars music and plug the words Boba Fett into there.
Oh.
Can you remix that with Lapty Neck real quick, or Yubna,
Ooh.
Jedi Rocks.
or Jedi Rocks?
Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett.
Give the
Putting it
stems
into
for Jedi
Lapty
Rocks.
Neck would work out well because it's the same number of
Yeah,
syllables.
no, the Lapty Neck, and I think I'd have to check my files, but there might be an instrumental mix of Lapty Neck. I can't remember. Lapty Neck is a weird one.
I bet you could put
the tracks for the movie version were lost after
Yeah.
they were sent away to be remixed. So the only version available on soundtracks is a re-recorded version, and there's various like club versions by a different artist, but on kind of semi-official or something.
I want a Duel of the Fates Boba Fett remix.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I think you could do that probably. Eladine, someone get a music producer. Someone call Skrillex. He's probably not busy.
Yeah. Is this Mr. Williams? John? Hey, you don't know me,
But do this.
but I got a great idea. Your kids are gonna love it.
His
My
kids are
country.
probably in their 60s.
Hey, you're never too old to rock, buddy, and that's what this song is gonna do.
All right then.
Boba Fett. See, it works already.
That would be great. That should just be the earned ending theme of Book of Boba Fett season 2. That'll happen, in 2024. Whenever they get to it. It's too long of a roadmap to account for that kind of. What else in this episode, Trav? What else we're talking about?
Well, we get this awesome meeting where Cad Bane, he meets with the Pike leader and the mayor. So we get a lot more Cad Bane in this episode, but also we are promised to not get more Cad Bane, which made me very sad.
Yeah.
I was initially, but I was like, no, if you're gonna bring someone in, then take him out immediately. This is a pretty great way to do that.
Yeah, like, do we feel that we need Cad Bane kicking around still? Do we need him in the sandbox still, Trav? Do you feel like you're disappointed to not have him in the sandbox anymore?
Yeah. I mean, especially when they just brought him into the live action, and I think that he looks really good.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, because
Well, Cobb
What
Vanth
if-
wasn't dead.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not, he seems to be dead and he could be brought back, and that would be perfectly within the realm of possibility. It's just the finality of bringing this guy in and doing that. It's like, would people have been pissed off if they'd done the same thing to Ahsoka?
Yes. Because we're more emotionally invested in Ahsoka. She's a more
Mhm.
developed character. Like, Cad Bane is...
Yeah.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when this is going, when the whole showdown with him and Boba is going on, and Boba kills him, I'm like, all right, well, I'm glad for this character, but at the same time, right now in my Star Wars fandom, Cad Bane has taken the awesome badass outlaw position that Boba Fett used to hold, and so I'm sad that we lost him.
That's fair. I mean, and they utilized him really well in these 2 episodes. But I mean, if Darth Maul can survive getting cut in half and thrown down a big, whatever the purpose of those tunnels are for,
yes.
It's space
who knows?
fantasy. It's space fantasy. It doesn't have to. They don't have to have guardrails.
Mm-hmm. And the whole, Dustin, I don't know if you know this, but him being split in half came into the picture very late in the process.
There's some versions
originally
of the movie where he's not in half, right?
Yeah, he originally fell without being cut in half, but Lucas, because of the Boba Fett issue of people being like, Boba Fett's still alive, he's like, I want this guy to be dead. I want there to be no question. Let's cut him in half so he falls in 2 pieces. And then it was George's idea to bring him back in the Clone Wars. So.
Does anyone hate his creations more than George Lucas?
No. That's a really good way of putting it. That is a very good point. There's probably not anyone who hates his creations more than George.
Do you think George Lucas hides in Skywalker Ranch because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
Oh, that's very possible. That's very
My
possible.
Rodriguez reference for the episode.
Yeah, this Cad Bane scene was great, and it seems to reference an unmade Clone Wars episode.
Yeah,
Right?
it does.
So
Because there's
so that never aired?
No,
No,
that was never
I-
produced.
yeah, I shared with Alex and Dustin an unfinished Clone Wars episode in which
Or
Cad
2-minute
Bane
clip
kinda
from
like-
one.
yeah, it's a 2-minute clip from one, but the episode in total is like a lot of Boba learning who, like, the stuff that he becomes later on from being in Cad Bane's tutelage for a little while. He's, throughout Clone Wars, he's teamed up with various bounty hunters, and this time it was Cad Bane, and they have a big showdown at the end that is very good, bad, and the ugly. And in this episode that never got finished, Cad Bane gives Boba Fett the dent in his helmet. And now that we know more about Beskar, I'm really curious how that happened from a blaster shot.
Yeah.
I feel like Boba's Beskar is not pure Beskar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. 'Cause, yeah, he also seems like in this episode, even like he seems like he takes hits way harder than Mando does typically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this whole showdown, it was cool because it's like referencing the fact that they have a past and that this is like canon, but just like the Fixer and Cammy stuff, it was never actually released on screen.
I still
Yeah,
can't believe there's a Fixer and Cammy cameo in this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dustin, go ahead.
yeah, well, I was just gonna say, watching that scene. So I watched this day it aired with no context because I've not really dove into any of the animated stuff. So pretty much any knowledge I have of that stuff comes from you guys when we do this podcast. I knew who Cad Bane was, that he existed, because I remember he came out. I was like, oh, cool, a Lee Van Cleef kind of space cowboy, cool. But I watched that scene earlier today before I did my episode rewatch, and just the recontextualization of that moment in this episode between Boba and Cad, I think, was better for it. Yeah, and I like that there's this history, and I mean, and we've talked about it constantly, especially you guys with Filoni and Favreau really pulling from all of this rich lore that's not been explored in live action. I think that's just another thing. Like, even if this show sucked from start to finish, like having these huge emotional and story-driven and character-driven payoffs is so great.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've been saying this since season 1 of Mandalorian, and I will get around to it at some point when I'm not watching Entourage, but it makes me want to go check out all of this other stuff that I've been hesitant to look into because it felt very superfluous to me in the past.
It started out superfluous because it started out talking about Stinky the Hutt.
Stinky the Hutt. Stinky!
And at Lucas's demand,
Zero.
put Ahsoka in a tube top and mini skirt when she was like 12 years old.
And calling R2 R2.
Oh, I forgot
I hate
about
that. I hate that for him.
R2, Sky Guy, Snips,
Somebody called
all early Clone Wars stuff.
who gets called Sky Guy and who calls them Sky Guy? Is that Anakin? Oh, it'd have to be Anakin.
Ahsoka calls Anakin Sky Guy.
Oh, I hate that. I hate everything about that. My one little gripe that I didn't even catch this time in the episode, that is on par with Pelemoto referring to the practice of barbecues in this episode.
Yeah, Sarah had an issue with that too.
As soon as she said it, I was like, oh, we celebrate the 4th of July in space now? What? I have never seen a propane grill anywhere in a Star Wars. I've never seen shish kebabs. I've never seen a weekend dad cracking open a cold one.
Yeah.
And we're talking about barbecues now?
That is
She would have brought her pod race engine.
Yeah, right.
Which is, yeah, that's what we see her roasting the crate dragon meat with. And
oh, yeah,
two.
you're right.
So the word barbecue is kind of like, chickens and bunnies being in the Ewok movies. Just
Or a
like-
duck being in the Star Wars novelization.
Right. A duck. Not a
Not
space
Howard.
duck.
Unless that,
Yeah.
unless that duck's Howard, yeah, I'm not interested.
Sarah also says in the chat, lots of spins in Yoda versus Darth Sidious.
Oh, true.
So more spinning.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
Maybe Yoda taught Anakin. No, maybe Anakin taught Yoda the spin.
Yeah, Anakin taught Yoda.
Yeah.
Relations with the Wookiees.
Oh,
he
the
has.
Count Dooku fight with Yoda too. Also, so much spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic Spinball.
Oh, that's another thing I didn't have to suffer through when I just rewatched Attack of the Clones.
What the Christopher Lee's face being pasted on somebody else's body?
Yes, all gone. The scene consists of them using the Force to throw things at each other, and then when Yoda couldn't contain that anymore, Dooku took the chance to run onto a ship, and that's the whole scene. It's great.
Oh wow. Oh, something else while we're talking about referring to other Star Wars stuff. I like Boba Fett's "Do It" to the Rancor when he rips the
Yes.
You had
the
to do
new
it.
the new droideka droids in half, or whatever they are. I know they're not droidekas, but they're similar.
No,
Oh,
they're
yeah, for sure.
droidekas like times 50. They're giant
Yeah.
droidekas, and they're
I
kind
love
of
that.
great.
And I'm like, I get what
It's-
these things are.
Yeah,
Yeah, as soon as Mando uses his thermal image, it was like, those are too big for droidekas, but I really hope that they're some kind of that, except
Yeah.
they didn't roll and spin after him. And that
Mhm.
was their downfall. They didn't
Yeah, he
spin
even,
and they lost.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But they try all these things to get at them. And even Mando tries to get through the shield with the lightsaber. And he like says like, well, we can't get through it with our energy and with our concussion. It's like
Kinetic
it's got
weapons.
with our kinetic weapons, it's got too much momentum. But I'm like, but you could still like just approach it and then take it off
Yeah,
apart
I'm just-
with your dark saber.
The logic
Yeah.
didn't make much sense.
yeah. I was just like, the slow blade penetrates the shield, man. Like, just
Yeah.
go for it.
I mean, in Star Wars video games, I've had to destroy plenty of droidekas by use of like getting very up close and personal and taking it out with a lightsaber that way.
Yeah.
So I knew how to do this.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. One a lot of it too. Another method was deflecting their own shots back at them.
Mhm.
yeah.
Although it would make sense that Mando probably is not at that stage yet.
Yeah. But that's an issue. That is one issue of it got very repetitive with all of the, the villagers of Freetown and everybody else just constantly shooting at the giant droidekas. And I'm like,
Like nothing's happening.
why are we still doing this?
Yeah.
Guys,
'cause
just
we
keep
need to-
shooting. We're gonna make one last stand. And like, okay,
We need to kick Santos into a wall.
Santos.
His real name is
Oh,
Santos.
oh my God! I fully thought Chrysanthemum was gonna get platooned when he's
Mm.
running
Oh,
for
yeah.
cover. Like he just the shot of everybody, and everybody shows like, I swear to God, if he throws up his arms like the foe, I'm gonna lose it.
I loved him in this episode. He got a fruit.
He was
He-
so good. Yeah, he got a
He got
melon.
a melon. He
Mhm.
took on so many people at once. He was. I thought he was great in this episode, and I'm glad he's not dead. I'm happy that there's a future for Black Chrysanthemum
Mhm.
Same.
in live
There-
action Star Wars.
There are so many great little moments in this episode. One of my absolute favorites was when he picks up the pike, throws him like 10 feet, and then shoots him in midair.
Yeah.
The action sequence in this episode it's so well done. Like
Yeah.
I'll absolutely give you the stuff with the Scorpion Neck droids got repetitive, but God, it was still so much fun, and just those
No,
little
it's fun.
Rodriguez touches were so much fun, and I think they made it work.
I thought the episode was shot really well too. Dave Klein shot this episode too, and I
Mhm.
thought he did a bang up job.
Yeah, I think this episode's probably looked the best out of any of them, just in terms of how it's shot, in terms of the composition.
Yeah.
The first showdown between Cad Bane and Boba.
yeah.
There's this amazing moment where it cuts to Cad. You only see the sun like blur, like washing everything out, and then it just like slightly moves, and you
Mhm.
see like the brim of his hat and Cat
Yeah, all
Bane
the
like
details of
silhouetted
the
against the
brim.
sun. It's just like again, I said it a million times, and I'll continue saying it. Like, just keep ripping off Western imagery. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's
And
so
that's
good.
when like they really got to show off that like this is a guy in a practical suit. Like
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
no doubt that you're looking at something real, which I
Yeah.
thought was cool.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah,
and then
he
enhanced,
looks
I
so
would think.
good.
Yes,
but like,
for sure. But like
but yeah, on a base
the
level,
real
like,
hat and
kind of
Mhm.
crazy that they. And I even saw people. I saw some YouTube video that was like, fixing Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett, and
Yes,
like
I
it's
know.
like edited to make him look more like he did in Clone Wars, and it's like, why are you doing that? Clone
That's-
Wars was stylized. Like, you're not gonna
Mhm.
like take live action Anakin and be like, put this makeup on to look more like cartoon Anakin. Like,
Yeah. I've seen
That's
people do
dumb.
like, this same counter argument to that is like, why doesn't Christopher Lee look the way he does in Count Dooku in the Clone Wars?
right?
So they like Photoshop Christopher Lee's face so it's all like elongated and weird and like
Yes,
fixed it.
Yeah.
because
Do you
Dooku's
mean
head
why
kind
isn't
of looks like a
Christopher Lee-
banana. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you mean why isn't Christopher Lee all edges?
which he should be. No, his
Yeah.
head is his real head is very gourd like, and the cartoon is very banana like. It's a very effective design in the cartoon, but it's very weird. It's the same in the Tartovsky cartoon. Got that weird.
Yeah.
head. Sarah's happy that Black Chrysanthemum survived.
Oh yeah. Oh, my thick boys didn't though. R.I.P.
Oh,
thick
yeah.
piggy boys.
That I didn't like. I was like, man, these Gamorrean guards have really been through it, and this is how they're going out. They're just like pushed off a cliff. Like,
If you had told me as a child that I would be sad about Gamorreans getting killed in the Star War, I would have said, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they would have said the pig guards in Jabba's palace because I was a kid and I didn't know that stuff yet. I would have gone, oh yeah, no, I'll probably never cry over them.
yeah, but then they become like kind of stand up, honorable individuals, and you're like, man, why'd you just get pit? Bummer.
Yeah, they had an arc.
Yeah, they did.
Like it, yeah, it's just another one of those little touches that they put into these shows where it's like
just
a nameless mod gets picked off on this side. Sure, we've got named mods that we've been with this
Right.
whole time.
We
Just
still
like
have
those
mod 1 and
Gamorreans.
mod 2. We don't
Mhm.
have mod 3,
Yeah, we
4,
have
and
gr-
5.
We have girl mod and dude mod.
Yeah, girl mod and spin mod. And
Yes,
we-
Plenty
and
of people
we still
from
have the
Freetown we could
yeah.
have seen killed. That is one issue that I had was they were talking about these Freetown reinforcements that were going to really turn the tide. And they show up and I think like, they do a good job, but I'm like, this is not
It's
an
like
overwhelming
right.
amount of people. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
takes
like
off.
a
15
baker's
people
dozen
in
of
the
them.
speeder.
Yeah.
And it's like 15 people, like, not in any way intelligently infiltrating the situation. It's just like, we're coming on this speeder right into the center of battle, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm also I don't had W. Earl Brown's Weequay character been named before or listed by name?
Ooh.
Because I
No,
know
I don't think so.
Tanti is his name now. Because
yeah.
the girl calls him by it when she asks for the cycler rifle.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think
I don't
he's
even
only
know
been
if in the
referred to
credits
as
he's been
Weequay
named.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Baker's dozen of reinforcements really turning the tide of battle.
Yeah, I mean, lucky Boba Fett remembered he had a rancor.
It's like, oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there was also the very. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dustin.
I was just gonna say one of the other things I like because I thought of it out of nowhere. The knee rocket thing, the knee guns on Boba
That was
Fett's
fun.
armor. He didn't use those before, had he? And I forgot
He
about
used
it.
them in the Mandalorian episode. Yeah. used them
Okay,
once.
that's what it was. Yes, it was. Okay, yeah. Bringing those back was great. That was really cool. Not as good a trick as spinning, but still a pretty good trick.
Yeah.
Knee missiles. That's a good.
I'll
trick.
try spinning. That's a good trick.
Wizard.
God. There's also
Sorry,
the
you
cool
were-
scene
you were
in
saying
which Boba and Mando kind of just decide, like, all right, we're just gonna run out there, guns blazing, and die. We're just gonna. That's Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid. That's the end of that,
yes,
right?
Butch Cassidy,
Butch Cassidy, the whole situation. Until what, Dustin?
Oh, sorry. I was just, I also when they run out, we almost get that Michael Bay camera move.
Oh, totally.
Almost.
We really do.
Like
there's
not,
a couple close,
not quite the full one, but very similar to that.
Yeah,
it just
that
doesn't go all the way.
That Steadicam wrap around.
Yeah, that spin. Yeah.
Yep, we get that shot.
Even Robert Rodriguez knows that spinning behind the camera is a good trick.
A good trick. Yeah, and then like the mayor's major domo kind of like trying to do the diplomatic thing, and then Boba
he's like, let me go out and
writing the ultimate
negotiate
FU.
For you.
Yeah,
that was very fun. That was a fun
good.
little scene. That guy, that actor never. I always enjoyed him, but he never totally felt like he was in Star Wars. But that's a lot of this show, so I'm just gonna say, that's Star Wars now.
Yeah.
So whatever. SoundCloud hip hop.
It's a Star Wars. Forget about it.
He's got some nice head tails.
He does have some nice
according
head tails.
to Pelimoto.
I like that. At least in live action, I feel like this is probably. I mean, I guess we had the bartender who wouldn't serve droids in New Hope, but like this is like the first seeming acknowledgement from the oppressed of a racial slur.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So they call him Tailhead. He is like, haven't heard that charming sobriquet before.
That is actually first said in the Clone Wars when they're going to Ryloth. Some clone troopers are going to Ryloth to fight a battle, and they say the word tailheads, and it's like very much like, oh, that sounds bad. You shouldn't say that.
That sounds awful. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I figured that it probably popped up. I meant like a character, like as far as like acknowledging, like, hey, that's a super not cool thing to say, but being all catty about it, like he is.
Yeah.
What else? What else is good in this episode? We have cute little. We have Grogu taking apart one of the droidicas by just wanting to play with a little part in its leg, more or less.
Oh yeah, ripping out like the ball joint in its knee or something.
Yeah, that was fun.
Great bit.
At the very end, him tapping on the glass. Like I thought it was like, put me on your lap, take me in the cockpit with you. Like, why am I back here? But it was just to go fast.
Oh,
yeah. Tap tap tap. Give me more infant frogs to murder.
Frogs, please.
One thing in that scene that I noticed, it's like the scream emanating from Grogu. I felt like, wow, it sounds familiar. And I realized, like, I think it sounds a lot like these sounds from Elf, of the little the penguin that's like there during the stop motion penguin that's there during the opening credits. And I'm like, oh, is this? And I think it might be, because I don't know if we know who voices Grogu, who does the voice for him. And I'm thinking like, okay, who does it? Maybe it's Jon Favreau. Maybe Jon Favreau did both of those voices, and that would make sense if it was like. That would make sense to me,
actually.
So I've got like, here's the Grogu screen.
Play it again. Zoom kind of crushed it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I think we got it that
Still
time.
garble. Okay. It's a little bit of the penguin.
It definitely sounds similar.
But I guess if you pitch anything up high enough, it's going to sound like that. But
oh yeah.
But I headcanon, it's Favreau is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the case or not. Because I know Favreau does. What is it? Paz Vizsla?
Yeah.
The other Mandalorian.
All the Vizslas.
There is a moment during the King Kong sequence at the end.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Where it cuts to a bystander, and I didn't notice it before, but this round it really looked like it was Jon Favreau.
Probably was.
But I couldn't tell 100%, but it was just something I caught. But I love that too. The sequence with the Rancor freaking out and like just demolishing everything was so much fun.
Yeah. Their decision to shoot at the Rancor was very dumb.
Yeah, bonehead move.
It's on the rampage. Kill it immediately.
Yeah. It was Grogu
okay.
slayed the beast.
Grogu, yeah.
Oh, like the only thing they didn't have was like, him taking somebody hostage. And in the concept art that they show at the end, with the King Kong references, like the Rancor has like a Twi'lek in his hand, like Fey Ray.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, we do get that shot where he's holding Mando.
Yeah. And he does bite a guy's head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
And then he tries to bite Mando's. This episode may have my favorite use of the Wilhelm scream.
That was very
when the
good.
Rancor picks up a pike and just flings him halfway across the planet, presumably.
That was a very good one. I like
that was so good.
And I think this is the first time the Wilhelm scream has been like very overtly used in a Star Wars project in a long time.
Yeah, I think they
Really?
retired it for a while, right?
They've retired it for the most part.
Because it came up in Clone Wars a few times, and yeah.
It just became a thing that, like, at the beginning was kind of an inside joke, and then it became such a thing that now, like, it's like it became where it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think they're like, let's rein it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But
one of the few bits that I think I can safely say I will never get tired of is hearing a Wilhelm scream pop up anywhere. I've never once heard it and been like, that's too much. I don't think I enjoy this anymore. Every time it comes up, I chuckle. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm in that camp. But, I can't understand them retiring it in Star Wars. I'm a little surprised they didn't do the same with the phrase, I have a bad feeling about this. Everyone has a bad feeling about this constantly, like 24/7 in Star Wars. No one has a good feeling about anything.
Yeah, I'd much rather that get retired.
And I mean, like, you like it the first few times, and then it's just like, in Clone Wars, it starts to get to be like, why are you doing anything? Like,
yeah.
No one...
If people in Star Wars can just start having good vibes only instead of a bad feeling about this,
good
like,
vibes only Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that.
That was another different thing they did in The Last Jedi, where it's said, but you don't like recognize it because BB-8's the one that says it.
Oh, they did it that way, eh?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Rian Johnson thing, yeah.
Yeah, I can at least respect a little twist on it. Or if a Hutt says it and it's in a different language, sure. Like, put a little twist on it
sure.
at least.
What if it translates into this?
McClunky.
I mean, he should have. He was about to get shot.
Yeah.
I don't remember when the second McClunky was from.
That was in this, wasn't it?
This is from like Bib Fortuna saying it right before.
Yes. At the end of Mando 2 season 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Bib Fortuna knew he was about to get got.
So I was watching the Screen Crush Easter eggs video about this episode, and their operating theory is interesting to me, which is that this and Mandalorian and soon to be Ahsoka and maybe Kenobi are all kind of building to an Avengers style, like, big crossover event within Star Wars. And then further to that theory, their idea was that might be the Kevin Feige movie, the Kevin Feige Star Wars produced movie that's theoretically on the docket. I don't know how much I believe that, but that's a fun idea. I mean,
it's a fun idea. It's just, it would be an interesting thing for a film, like a theatrical film, to be predicated on, like, hope you watch the shows.
Right. Hope you watched, like, TV for the last 5 years, kind of a feature film. Yeah, that would be interesting. It'd be very risky.
I mean, I feel like they've done a good enough job with a lot of the Star Wars stuff that, like, even if you're not familiar with a lot of the stuff they're pulling from, they do a good job of still making it accessible for initiates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they'd be able to do that if that did happen. I think they could pull that off.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm just interested to see, because like all of this stuff seems very interconnected. Like I have no doubt now that we're going to see Luke Skywalker show up in Ahsoka, you know, and like that seems to be, you know, there's the indication that Grand Admiral Thrawn will show up in that. There's, you know, there's more Mandalorian with Bo-Katan at its core somehow, maybe as an antagonist, and that'll cross over with Ahsoka also probably. And I don't know, man. There's a lot of threads that could come back together.
I had forgotten until you just now said it that we got Thrawn.
Yeah, we got Thrawn coming up.
I had completely forgotten that we got introduced to Thrawn.
Yeah,
a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Rebels, and now he's being brought over into live action, which is so exciting.
Well, yeah, that's in live action, because I haven't watched any of the cartoons.
Yeah,
no,
that's another thing.
I've
like
watched much of that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, before the Ahsoka series, I mean, Alex, you're doing this. You're going to be watching the animated stuff. I would highly recommend, you know, anyone who's curious about what the Ahsoka show is going to be, to watch Rebels, so that you know kind of the situation of things and why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's, you know, it's pretty easy to distill down the core, because that stuff I've seen, like all the important core lore stuff I've seen from Rebels and seen all of Clone. But yeah, it's very dense.
Now, question: do we think with Ahsoka or Kenobi that we're going to see Stinky show up?
Could be.
Yeah,
I really would have thought it would have happened in this show. Really,
if it was
just
going to
with it
happen
being based on Tatooine. It's brought up
maybe
in the first Aftermath book. I mean, the same book that like Cobb Vanth's brought up in.
Okay.
And it has to do with Malakili, the Rancor keeper, is brought. They recruit him to help raise Stinky, because, you know, he's without a father, and like Malakili's with, you know, huts and stuff. So
like, is he a crime lord, Malakili? Like,
well, no, but like they wanted it, I mean, it has to do with the same stuff that this show is dealing with. Is they wanted to raise, what's Stinky's real name? I forget. Punky
Stinky
Muffin. Yeah, Punky Muffin is what Jabba refers to him as. But they wanted to, like, you know, bring him up to be like the next like crime lord heir to take over. So they were gonna like groom him.
I don't know which name I hate more. They're both awful. Mentioning Malakili.
Rada the Hutt is his real name.
Rada.
Okay, that's a much better name. That's a much better name. That sounds like an actual Hutt name.
But like that's why he's like, he smells, and his name is Rada, like he's rotting.
Yeah.
You know, Lucas.
I just assume that no Hutt smells good. They're nothing but skin folds.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe assumption.
I remember the other thing that one of the few gripes I had with this episode. I really thought we were going to see Danny Trejo again.
Yeah.
Even briefly.
With Rodriguez bringing, you know, directing and the Rancor and everything.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting him to like come in and save the day and start throwing space machetes into pikes or anything. But yeah, I really thought that we would see a little bit more with him and the Rancor and Boba Fett kind of deepening that relationship, which it seemed like they were pushing towards, and then they're like, we're gonna do a whole 2 episodes about the Mandalorian instead now.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just cut to, you know, Johnny Depp asking him if he's a Mexican or a Mexicant.
You a Tatooine or a Tatooine that...
I would love to see a Rodriguez directed episode of a Star Wars thing that just where he gets to cast like all of his people, where like Salma Hayek is in it, and Johnny Depp is in it, and Antonio Banderas is in it, and just like everybody that everybody at the core of Rodriguez's stable, like Alexa Vega can show up, Taylor Lautner.
What's Taylor Lautner in? Was he one of the Spy Kids?
Hello,
he was a Shark Boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One of the only Rodriguez's I haven't seen.
And he did not reprise his role in the follow-up
We Can Be Heroes, yeah.
the Netflix film, which I have seen, and unfortunately is not worth your time, but wasn't the worst thing in the world.
I believe it. Oh my god, could you imagine if we got Freddie Rodriguez as Space El Rey?
That would have been amazing.
Great character. I was gonna say Michael Biehn, but we already got Michael Biehn.
We did get Michael Biehn. We Can Be Heroes is no shorts, people. Shorts is actually really good. Forgotten entry in the Rodriguez. He takes the Pulp Fiction narrative structure and makes a kids movie instead.
Ooh.
When do we get Enrique Iglesias in a Star Wars?
That's a great question. When will it stop being Star Wars and start being a vampire movie? Is a question.
When will he be our hero, baby?
Let's do that. Let's have Tom Savini come out in Mandalorian armor with a pistol on his crotch piece and a whip,
a crotch bowcaster.
Yes.
Yeah, his Star Wars name is Jizz Machine.
Come on, Jizz Machine!
Oh my god. Oh yes, let's do it. Let that be reality.
Oh, what a time.
All right. Let's see. What else? I did have one kind of an issue. And it's with Grogu showing up, with Pelimoto and stuff, showing up in the X-Wing and everything being kind of back to the status quo at the end of this with Mando and Baby Yoda. And I'm like, this is strange based on how season 2 of Mando ended and where we are now, that
right,
like all of this has been reset and resolved.
Yeah.
Within just a few episodes. And I'm like, as happy as I am that is the case, I did wish to see, I think, a little bit more of that explored of Mando on his own and of Grogu like coming to terms with things. It
resets the uncertainty at the end of that we got from the end of Mando season 2, and that's a interesting narrative choice to make.
It makes a lot of it feel so pointless too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being kind, but yes.
It is such a huge thing of like, we're trying to find like his like that's the whole impetus of Mando season 2. And, it comes to that big head, where, Luke shows up and it's just like kind of brushed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was just so frustrating to see it resolved again with the whole binary choice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like, hey, it has to be one or the other. It was like, come on, man. Like we've seen this before. Like,
and if you choose that shirt, I'm just going to stick you on that X-Wing and R2 is going to take you wherever. I'm not going to have any part of this.
Yeah, it's just, especially when you consider like Luke coming into the game as late as he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he was a kid-ish, but like he was an adult. He was old enough to go to Tashi Station to get some power converters, and he still got a shot.
Yeah. Obi-Wan or Yoda didn't say you can only pick the lightsaber or a power converter.
Yep. Yeah, it's just, that's one of the only overall things. Because like I was really interested to see where the series would potentially go without pairing Mando and Grogu together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like that arc had kind of reached a pretty natural conclusion with him leaving with Luke at the end of season 2.
Grogu makes too much money. That's just it.
Yeah, and it's disappointing that that's most likely entirely what the decision was based on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they could have just made an entirely other show where it's just Grogu and Luke.
Yeah, like give us some Jedi Academy stuff. Like,
yeah, that'd have been fun.
Yeah, show us why you got to a point where it's like, You know what I should do? Me, a Jedi Master, I should think about murdering one of my students.
Consider it.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's-
I think that would have
just-
been one hell of a show of like just, Luke, Grogu, and just like tiny Ben Solo.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'd
that
watch
would have
that
been
show.
wonderful.
I'd watch whatever show they make.
I bet the Stranger Things kid from Ghostbusters would be a great Ben Solo.
Oh God.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yes.
We don't need to. We can pump the brakes on Finn Wolfhard a little bit, I think.
We
Yeah,
can,
need
but
to
I mean, it's
Finn
also
Wolf
what a great
soft
name
him a
though.
little bit.
Yeah. No offense to the kid. He's solid what he does. But I mean, like, yeah. I don't know. I would just start. I'm trying to not be just like a jerk, just saying mean things for no good reason. But I feel,
Well,
I
there are
feel
other
those
kids
things
in that show that I think are talented. The kid who plays Dustin. I don't know the actor's name, but
Yeah,
I'd love to see more of him.
yeah.
That's just me from the early 90s. They went back in time and got him.
Oh, nice.
Which is frustrating because I'm not seeing any changes in my bank account. And you would think that I would have by now.
You would think.
You would think. I'm not
Someone
sure on
get-
how paradoxes work.
Someone get Ted Sandaros on the phone. Is that guy's name? Is that the Netflix man's name?
That sounds right.
I call him Mr. Netflix.
First name Net, last name Flix.
His real name is Santos.
Santos, the fresh maker.
I used to work with a guy named Santos, and he was a nice guy, and it just brought me a lot of pleasure that I worked with a guy named Santos.
Yeah. I meant to grab more Santos clips from Wild at Heart, but then I unfortunately had to pull other stuff. Like when Fennec Shan goes after everybody, I wanted this one.
Get the hell out of the way, hammerhead.
That was a great scene. Her just like
Yeah.
executing everyone in that little room. That was fun.
Oh, yeah. That was so good.
I think no one
Yeah,
is
because after
great.
everything before, I forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, right. She went to go track down the Pike Syndicate's leader.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God, that was such a great... I would have been fine with the episode being 5 minutes longer to really stretch her, like, just taking out a whole bunch of them.
Just being Batman in there.
Yeah, 'cause it's so... Like, that scene is maybe a minute and a half long from
Yeah, it's
start to
pretty
finish.
blur-
It's
it's pretty
very
brief.
quick.
Mhm.
I was like, this is a cool scene. I would have been fine with it taking a little longer.
I agree.
Yeah. Ming-Na Wen's a delight.
Agreed with that for sure. She's great. Not the last we'll see of her, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. And she does get that great moment when she saves the mods earlier, too, which is
Yes.
super cool.
Also a super
And
fun moment.
She does a little parkour to get down to her speeder.
She's a character that we see in the Bad Batch, so I'm sure we'll see her again in
Oh.
season 2.
yeah.
What we got Pelly losing a tooth. We got her saying the Force works in mysterious ways.
That was funny. Also, the constant, like, I think it was a gag that happened twice of Pelly and the guy and the Major Domo guy, like,
Mhm.
looking, and then Grogu's just, like, gone. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what? Those were fun gags.
Oh. Also, I feel like it's such a tired trope most of the time, but I laugh this time when we get Pelimoto screaming when the Rancor approaches them, and then we get him screaming immediately after on almost the same pitch. It's really good.
That was well executed, too, yeah.
Also, definitely getting big vibes that they might hook up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Feeling that a bit.
Make some little Pelimotos and whatever his name is.
He doesn't have a name yet. It's still just
Yeah.
Major Domo. Mhm.
Yeah, Weequay got a name, but not him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about all for this episode.
Yeah, I
of
don't
this
think I have
series.
any much more to say here.
Yeah, same.
We'll be back talking about Star Wars when Kenobi comes on in May. Thankfully, of a date of May 25th, which I'm very happy about, not May the 4th.
Yeah.
And it is 3 weeks. I love that it's 3 calendar weeks after May the 4th, May 25th. So if they, keeping in their Wednesday thing, like they could still do the date. They could still do May 4th if they wanted to. But no, they're choosing the 45th anniversary of the release of the first Star Wars movie. So
that's really
pretty
cool. May the 25th be with you.
Yes. And before that, in the meantime, we're gonna do a podcast that I am super excited about. Travis, you wanna mention that?
Yeah. Well, Alex, I think you should go for it because I think I threw it out. I thought like, oh, this is just kind of a joke, but no, you're like, no, I want to do this.
I'm very excited about this. One thing that I've been interested in for a long time actually is in watching every movie adaptation of the story The Most Dangerous Game. Actually, it occurs to me that I've never read the story, and we should also read the original text.
It is my favorite short story of all time.
Great. I've never read the original text. I will be doing that. But we're going to do a podcast covering as many weeks as we can manage of different movie adaptations of The Most Dangerous Game.
I just clicked on a Wikipedia article that's adaptations of The Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah, I have a list somewhere because I think I had a few on my list that weren't on that are kind of extreme adaptations or maybe very loose adaptations, but
has there been a straight up adaptation since the one from the late 20s?
I do not recall. Let me look.
If there is, I am not aware of it. It's been entirely movies that are essentially the story, but they're not a direct adaptation of it.
Yeah, that's
there's
generally
one
it.
That is it's upcoming right now, directed by Justin Lee with Judd Nelson and Bruce Dern, Casper Van Dien.
Oh,
Ted
interesting.
That's gonna be cheap, but probably super fun.
I don't even know which of those actors would be playing who.
So there was the original adaptation in 1932, The Most Dangerous Game.
32, that's what it was.
And
with Fay Wray.
And then there was another straight adaptation that was a remake of that called A Game of Death in 1945.
Okay.
And this is with John Loder and Audrey Long. And then after that, it seems to diverge into other kinds of things. Yes, in such movies as Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity.
That's the first thing. You read it as I was looking at it. I'm going to say this, and then Confessions of a Psycho Cat.
Yeah. There's an Australian one. I think this is Australian. Yes, there's an Australian one called Turkey Shoot, which I'm actually really excited
yeah, I've heard of that.
Interesting. Yeah, an Australian version of that story would be wonderful.
So not only is there this Australian, it's a futuristic dystopian sci-fi adaptation. Australian, 1982. Not only is there that, but there's actually a remake of Turkey Shoot from 2014. So there's even a remake of an adaptation that I'm sure gets even looser with whatever the hell is going on in terms of Most Dangerous Game. But that version stars Dominic Purcell.
Blade Trinity's Dominic Purcell.
So there's a very deep hole to go down here that I'm excited to start scratching the surface of.
And we're counting stuff like Surviving the Game and
absolutely
Running Man.
Oh
yeah, we have to be talking about Surviving the Game and The Pest and
Hard Target.
Yeah, the list that I'm looking at has Apocalypto listed.
That's interesting.
Really? Huh.
I would. Number one, be interested in watching Apocalypto anyway. Number two, be interested in watching it through the lens of it's a secret Most Dangerous Game adaptation.
Yeah,
have you ever seen Apocalypto?
I didn't know that about
Never have.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is.
Oh,
and when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Huh.
So yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be, if we really commit to this, there would be 2 seasons of this kind of podcast because I don't think there's actually enough weeks in between now and Kenobi to. 12 weeks or whatever it is. Yeah.
You twisted my arm. I'm down.
So I guess let's start with next week we'll start with the 1925 or 1932, the first one.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Which I just watched this week before I watched Surviving the Game.
Yeah, it's
So-
good. Pretty short too.
It is. It's just over an hour long.
Yeah.
So it's a quick
Yeah.
watch.
Gonna be great. Is that on a streaming service somewhere?
It is. It's on. Well, here's the thing: it's on several streaming services. It took me a while to find the black and white version because
Oh,
everything
is it
was
colorized?
colorized, and I did not want to watch that.
Gross.
It's colorized on Prime. It's colorized on Tubi. It is on HBO Max in black and white. So that's where I would
nice.
recommend everyone check it out.
Good to know.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, since that one's short, should we discuss the first two? Or should we not? Should we keep them separate? Because the the 1945 A Game of Death is an hour and 12. So that's also
I feel like-
it's directed by Robert Wise.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I feel like we could probably knock out those first two in a single episode.
Yeah, what do you think, Travis?
Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that.
Man, from the director
I don't know
of
where
West
that one
Side
would be.
Story.
Yeah, and Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Oh yeah. Interesting. His he directed Curse of the Cat People. 1944. That's interesting. Anyway, all this and more to be discussed on the Most Dangerous Podcast, or whatever we're gonna wind up calling it.
Who
That doesn't
watches?
sound-
Who hunts?
Who hunts? So yeah, that'll be exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a killer idea.
So till next week. I don't do this part of the show. Travis.
Oh yes, I will do that. I forgot we were in the middle of doing that. All right, Dustin, where can people find more of you?
DustinMeadowsComedy.com, at Dustin Meadows on Twitter and Instagram. And you can check out my other podcast, New Metal Who Dis, on all your favorite podcatchers.
All right, and Alex, how about you?
You know what? But yeah, that's my at. But just like keep listening. Just the most excited thing I'm most excited about is come back to listening to this podcast of us talking about the most dangerous game movies. Just
Cool.
let plug in our show. That
Awesome.
doesn't work.
You can find me at Travis Fishburne. You can find the show at Who Watches Pod. Reach the show at whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, subscribe, leave reviews anywhere you're listening or watching this. And so until next week, pack your things. We're leaving.
Pack your things. We're leaving.